So welcome to the Pinkard Youth Institute 30th year celebration. I think in and of itself, 30 years deserves an applause. As it says at the top of your program, my name is Greg Sawyer. Actually gave me all three names, which is what my mom called me, all three of those names when I was in trouble. She would call me William, Greg Sawyer. You get your little tiny rear end. She couldn't say that now, but you need to get your little tiny behind in here. It's great to have you. I know there's a little bit of something that's a little bit different at the top, and it says newly appointed Vice President for Student Affairs at Sonoma. I know some of you have heard that I have retired. So I suppose that the rumor of my retirement, I suppose, was greatly exaggerated. I was retired, but I did get an offer that I could not refuse, and I will be headed to Sonoma State University as their Vice President for Student Affairs starting in April. For some of the students that are here, particularly students that I work with in the summer, you may see these little pins that they have. I have to bring this up because you're going to see it and see what is called a Bitmoji. If you don't know what a Bitmoji is, these young folks will tell you what a Bitmoji is. But if you do know what a Bitmoji is, so there's a little Bitmoji that my staff, when I retired from Channel Islands, made a Bitmoji. And they made it as a lapel pin. So you will now see these students that are walking around with this little Bitmoji that looks just like me. It's bald head and black. So I think I got a bag full of them. What am I going to do with these things? So I figured, hey, I'm going to see some of my students that I work with in the African American Enrichment Academy this past summer. So first of all, I'd like to welcome our students. Students, will you please stand up and be recognized? All of our students here, please stand up and be recognized. All students. The reason why we do this is for our students. We get together as a community. I don't know if you heard what happened in Dallas, Texas, but there was a call for African American men to come out and to support their kids. Did you read that story? 600 men showed up. 600 men showed up to be able to mentor. That's right, that deserves applause. That I would not preach today. But it is important to understand that we've got to be there to solve the problems. We've got to be there to make the difference. We cannot win the game if we don't have the ball. So we've got to make sure that we are taking responsibility for the education, the nurturing, the spirituality of the young people in our community. And that's the reason why this luncheon is so important. And so when you think, gosh, I laid a lot of money out today in the church, put that money when it kind of walked around, well, we're asking you to go to church again today. And if you got something left in your wallet, we would like to have that to go towards our students. I can say personally, we've run the African American Achievement Academy, or Enrichment Academy out of Channel Islands, and this will be the 5th year. We're excited, but we can only do it with your help to put kids on a college campus for 5 days, taking college-educated classes, and we don't let them out of their sight. I tell them, I don't want more kids leaving that university than came to the university. You get my drift? So we literally pay people all night to stand by doors, literally. I'm an old dean of students. I know what happens. So we're going to make sure that they don't come back to your house with something extra. And the key to all of this is, as you know about our Black College Tour and other things that we do with regard to the Institute, it's incumbent upon us as a community to make sure it happens. We can't let somebody else or wait for somebody else to make sure it happens. We have to do that. So we'll talk a little bit more, and you'll have an opportunity to hear Joe Richards talk a little bit more in terms of the purpose of why we're here today. But at this time, it's my privilege to bring up Reverend Vaughn Beatty, who is going to lead us in prayer. So, Reverend Beatty.
Please bow your head. Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless the Pinkard Youth Institute. Father, we invite your presence into this place, for we realize, Lord, we're only successful when you're in our midst. So bless, Lord, the works of the Institute. Bless those who support the Institute. Bless our young people, Father. Guide and direct us all, Lord, that we might be better servants for you. Bless now, Master, we ask this blessing and your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
So we have a couple things that we're going to do, but first and foremost, we have our first door prize. And yeah, absolutely. So, door prize. Last year, on the 50-50, anybody remember 50-50 from last year? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Remember what happened last year on 50-50? I pulled it out. It was my wife's ticket. And everybody's, oh, yeah, like that really happened, you know? And so we ended up, you know, obviously giving it back to the scholarship. But Lord have mercy, right? It went to a worthy cause. As I see Bowie State, I'm always happy when I think about the fact that my dad went to Morehouse, was a proud graduate of Morehouse. My uncles went to Tuskegee, and my mom went to Bennett College, for those of you who know, those of you through historical right institution. And I love it. You know, I won't say that Sawyer did it 2 years in a row. And it looks like it's Martha Lejeune. And the second winner is Tamra Hill. Oh! Even more exciting than the door prizes is having Joe Richards come up and visit with us today, who's our Deputy Superintendent of the Ventura Unified School District. There he is. Joe Richards, give us a hand.
How's everybody doing today? I wanted to just make a note that my boss gave me a standing ovation. But I also know someone else did. Just wondering about that a little bit. Dr. Sawyer said a lot of things that I had chosen to say, but I think it's worth saying again. First of all, you know, the purpose of this event. I want to start with celebrating 30 years of service to the African American community in Ventura County. So I'd just like to applaud Dr. 30 years of service. Started with a few students and their desire to expose those students to historical black colleges and universities. And it's interesting because my wife and I both grew up in LA and went to LA Unified. And we didn't really get the black college option until we were well out of college. So we didn't understand it. We had no exposure to it. And my wife's grandmother actually went to Spelman. So it really is a need to make people aware of what's out there for them. It expanded into the summer enrichment program, and also it expanded into the summer internship program. And so they didn't just kind of relax on their morals, they expanded the program to give more services to African American youth. The second purpose we're here, or another purpose that we're here, is to acknowledge and honor the contributions and hard work of African American students in Ventura County. I believe this is the only event where that happens here, specifically for African American youth. And so, you know, we have some specific winners here, but, you know, on a broader perspective, everybody wins when it happens. So I would like for all the people under 22 to stand up. Just all the young people under 22 years old. And I would like to just give them an applause for their hard work, their contribution. We want you to know that we see you, and we appreciate the fact that you are working hard, and we appreciate what you're going to bring back to this community. Thank you. Another purpose that we're here is that, you know, the reason that this happens is because all of you have invested. You know, some are very new investors, some have been in this investment for a very long time, and this is not like the stock market where it kind of goes up and it goes down. This is an investment where you get immediate returns. And so we want you to be here so that you can witness those returns. We want you to see, you know, what you're accomplishing with your investment. And we also want to encourage you to continue to invest in this great purpose. And you have absolutely made a difference in the lives of many, countless young people in Ventura County, in LA County, in San Bernardino County. Countless young people have benefited from the many programs that the Pinkard Youth Institute provides. And so I applaud you, and I encourage you to continue your investment in this great endeavor. Thank you so much. And lastly, we are here also to thank you. We want to say to your face, we want to look you in the eye and say thank you so much for what you do for this community. And we know that it's needed. It makes a big difference. And we are so appreciative of your time, your resources, your talents, your treasures. We're so appreciative of it. And we just hope that you continue to support us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. One of the things that my parents used to always say, and they instilled it in all three of their kids, Sunday evening was a ritual for us. You ate Sunday dinner with the family, no matter what, period. And one of the things that our parents used to always say to us is, son, they don't need to look like you to look after you. And I'm going to repeat that because I think that's important, because that's what Mr. Richards was saying. They don't need to look like you to look after you as long as their heart is full of grace and love and concern for your child. But we welcome everybody who is going to welcome us and treat us with dignity and respect. And that's what this is about. You know, one of the things that, having been in the community now a little bit over 16 years, any event that I would have on this campus in terms of the Channel Islands, the Pinkards were there, period. It was so important to make sure that we had that kind of presence within the community. And I know that we talk about the Pinkards because this is a Pinkard event, but I have to say that without you, Irene and Bedford, a lot of the accomplishments that we've had in this community would simply not be a reality. So I'm going to go off script, and I'm just going to ask if we can all stand and recognize Irene and Bedford Pinkard for one moment. One of the things that's so important for us, and then we're going to go eat because I don't want to keep anybody away from their food. But it is so important for us to recognize those individuals that recognize others. Because oftentimes we forget about recognizing them. Because we think that they're already full. But we know that all the energy that the Pinkards put into what they do, if we didn't have this, who was going to step up and do it? And so we can't assume that it would have been done. But what we can say, it is being done, and the Pinkards continue to do it. So Dr. Pinkard, on behalf of all of us here, we thank you from the bottom of our heart for making a difference in our community for our students. So thank you again. Appreciate it. And I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and eat, and then we'll do door prizes when I get back up, okay? All right. We have some young folks that are walking around that'll be selling tickets. Once again, I ask you to go deep into your pockets. You take checks, go into your purses. Please make yourself available to our young people that are trying to sell tickets. Our door prize, if we can do a real quick door prize. So I'm going to ask my door prize helpers if they can bring up our spinning tube. In the meantime, a little bit of trivia. How many HBCUs are there in the United States? Anybody know? Raise your hands. Anybody? How many historically black colleges and universities are they in the United States? Anybody know? How many? 12? No. Okay. Which one? 20. No, there are 101. Way to go, Reverend Beatty. Now, by the way, that number is down. It used to be 121 in the 1930s. But that's when we did not have the integration of our schools. So once we started integrating our colleges and universities, then those numbers went down to 101. What state has the most historically black colleges and universities? North Carolina. Can I have another? Can I get another? Can I get another? Alabama. Alabama's number 1 with 12. North Carolina's number 2 with 11. And Texas and Georgia tied for 3rd place with 9. So those are the schools, and of course you've got a number of them. I come from the state of Ohio, and we have 2 black colleges right across the street. Literally, Central State University and Wilberforce are right across the street. But then all of us know Soul Circle in Atlanta, Georgia, where they're all in one little circle, right? So everybody knows Soul Circle in Atlanta, Georgia. We're gonna pick now. Chief, you knew I couldn't get up here and not have one little piece of education. You know I had to. This is gonna be a fun one for me. Robbie Hibbler. Robin, you gonna raise your hand so they can bring you in? Okay, they went to go get your present.
Oh, I gotta go get it?
She's bringing it. Over here, Trinity.
Awesome.
Raise your hand, Robbie. Robbie.
All right, and then our next winner is Errol Watson. All right, we're getting ready to bring up our student speakers. Before we bring up our student speakers, just another piece of information. Out of the 101 HBCUs that we have, that 27 of those institutions offer doctoral degrees out of 101, and 52 of the schools offer at least a master's degree. So if nothing else, understand that when their students go on our Black College tour, that they're getting the same kind of quality education. Some of you may have heard the term Black Ivy. And Black Ivy are those elite institutions that you oftentimes hear about. Fisk, Spelman, Howard, Tuskegee, the list goes on. But those are the, and I know folks say, you better say my school. I will say what in particular. So I did postdoc work at Harvard, and one of the things I learned when I was there is they said, do you know who has the most national merit finalists? Harvard! No. It was FAM. FAMU had the most national merit finalists, and the reason why is because the president was recruiting those students like they recruit athletes at Ohio State and UCLA and everybody else. He recruited students for his academic programs just like they recruited athletes at the D1 level schools. And so they were at the time the #1 recipient of national merit finalists. So that says a whole lot when you start talking about the kids coming out of school. And things that I think most of us would not have known. So at this time, I'd like to bring up our own scholars, our student scholars. And our first speaker today, representing the Black College Tour, is none other than Angel Morris. Angel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that was nice. First off, I would like to thank Dr. Pinkard and for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of our programs and on behalf of my peers. I also would like to thank Ms. Richards, I call her Auntie Bobby, for also thanking me as well. But as I said, as Dr. Sawyer said, I'm Angel Morris, and I'm a senior enrolled at Culver City High School. And last year I participated in the 2017 Black College Tour. We toured several HBCUs in Alabama and Mississippi, and including Tougaloo University, Alabama State, Mississippi Valley State, Tuskegee, Concordia, and Alcorn State University, and many more. Now, mind you, I've never been to an HBCU, and I just heard, experiences from them. Some of my family goes to HBCUs, most of my family have been to and attended HBCUs. But when I was given the opportunity to go, I was like, let me go ahead and see what this is all about, and get my feel of an HBCU campus. Before the tour, I was, in hopes of going to a Cal State or some other college to give me a quality education. In Alabama, I found that school. Tuskegee University is my dream school, and without the tour, I would have never known that. The tour, it allowed me to find my dream school, make long life friends, and experience the Divine Nine for the first time in person. When I tell you, they was doing the thing. I'm serious, I ain't gonna try, but yeah. And also to experience Black culture at its best. HBCUs give something that other colleges just don't give. The tour affected my life drastically. Since then, I've been so college-minded. I used to see college as something that was just, something I have to do when I get out of high school in order to be successful in this society. But now I see it as an opportunity. I used to see college as something as mediocre. But now I realize that my education is so valuable, and I should be taking the opportunities by storm. People would love to be in my shoes, and I think in my generation we fail to realize that we are given so much, but don't realize that we're taking it all for granted. Our education is so important, and we are the future, and we need to take us more seriously. We don't realize that the power that is given to us, we don't realize the power that is given to us when we actually apply ourselves. And we don't realize the power we hold just with our education. We don't have to have money, we don't have to have all this stuff, but just with education itself, we have so much power. The tour enlightened me to do better and take the opportunities given to me. It gave me exposure to HBCUs and showed me where I want my future to take place. And as Dr. Sawyer instilled in my brain for 1 week, I am the master of my fate and I am the captain of my soul.
You know, as educators, we don't make a lot of money. But it's not about that. It's about that. And when you get an opportunity to see our future and how bright it is, there was a time, so we did this program, and our next speaker will have an opportunity to talk about that. So we've done this African American Enrichment Academy. And the idea truly is to enrich their lives so that when they go back to school, they demand it. It's no longer the how and what you have to do. Now you have to learn the word. We empower them with this word. Why? Why? If you know the why, the how and the what will follow. You just got to know the why first. And one thing we also instill in them is you do not wait to be educated. Because you will not get taught. That's not a knock on us as educators. But you need to be asking the questions. I was not taught black history. I was taught that I caused a civil war. I was. I never learned about my history until I stole my history. And I started going to the library. And all of a sudden, I started realizing I come from kings and queens. I started realizing the richness of my education and the things that our folks have done to help to create this world that we're in today. And I didn't have to apologize for my existence anymore. I am not an apology. I am the reason why we are successful. And so those are the things we instill in these young people to make sure that, I know that some of you that were at NAACP banquet earlier, essays of the year, because I still work at academically. But the idea of watching young people from both the Enrichment Academy as well as from the university get up together and do Invictus. So one evening they will tell you, I was tired of it. I don't have it for that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let all y'all call your parents right now and tell them to come pick you up. I got stuff to do. And it doesn't include you. Because if you're not ready to commit yourself, and I'm here, and I got a real job, and I'm here doing this other job, y'all can go home. So we sat around in a circle. We did. Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. And we did come to Jesus. And each one of them had to say why I'm committed, and they had to say, Dr. Sawyer, I'm all in. Right? I'm all in. And from that moment on, when they all recommitted themselves to say, I'm all in, they were all in to the very end, where they did something very special for the end. They kind of got me and made me tear up a little bit because they all got together at the final ceremony, and I beat them up pretty much during the week. But at the very end, they became this product that everybody in this room will be proud of. And so I'm going to ask that Elijah Edmond please come up. Elijah will talk a little bit about our program, the Enrichment Academy. All right?
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank Dr. Pinkard for giving me another opportunity like this, so thank you. Before summer, I decided that I wanted to be more productive and not waste my summer vacation on doing that. So I decided to go through the student internship program that was suggested to me by my school counselor, Ms. Rachel. Going through the student internship program was an exciting experience for me. I got to experience a job interview for the first time, and that is something I'll never forget. I remember getting a text from Sarah, who was going to be one of the mentors through the program, congratulating me for being selected as one of the interns. When I tell you how happy I was to get that message, I was so excited. My job assignment was at the Ventura Unified School District with Mr. Joe Richards. And in order to start working, I had to call the school district myself and set up my schedule without my parents' help. This really showed me how much I relied on my parents. While working at Ventura Unified School District, I got to work in many different departments, such as business services, accounting, nutritional services, and graphics. Not only did I learn how to schedule meetings, type letters, fax, file, sort, bind, and mail, I got to witness what the district oversees for each individual school in Ventura. Also, I learned how to maintain a professional demeanor within the office. I really loved working at Ventura Unified School District because the staff there made me feel very appreciated and valued. After every work week, we earned money and got to see how fast it goes. Now I truly understand the meaning of money doesn't just grow on trees. Dominic, who was also a mentor, often checked in on us, gave us positive feedback, and helped us with some of our workshops. These workshops included anger management, money management, dinner etiquette, and job preparation. All of the valuable information from the workshops and from my job experience is what I will be using in preparing for my future. With that being said, for anyone who is interested in gaining experience within the work field, I recommend that the student internship program is the right option. I would like to thank all the mentors and Dr. Pinkard for making this program possible. Thank you very much.
And I apologize, Elijah, I had you down for doing the other program, but one of the things that's so important about our internship programs, it does exactly what Elijah said. It gives our students the opportunity to be able to work in a professional environment and to have mentoring, because sometimes they don't. And you know that in your offices, when people have come in, they didn't know how to act, and then people start talking about them, right? Versus having the opportunity to bring them along. Sometimes we have, bring your daughter to work, bring your son to work. Well, this is a different opportunity to be able to bring a young person in and to mentor them in the process. And if you have that opportunity and you'd like to extend it, I am sure that Dr. Pinkard and certainly Joe Richards, they would love to be able to hear more about that in the board, because we've got to give them that opportunity to work among us so they see what it's like. The Dean Mosley at Florida A&M University built a brand new building, business building. On the second floor of the building is a boardroom. And the reason why is she did not want students coming out of school, going into the work environment, sitting at a board table and not know what to do. Because so many of those kids have come out in that environment and they see this humongous table. I did some work for American Airlines with Sabre. And you go in there, and as soon as you go in there, the little TVs come out of the table, the phone comes out of the table, and I'm looking like, whoa, Lord. I mean, that was new to me. And I've been working. So imagine a student that saw that for the first time. So I think it's so important, Elijah's experience and the experience of others that go on through the internship program, it really is important that we extend those opportunities. It doesn't take that long, but it takes a lot of effort, and it really takes a lot of heart to be able to help them. As you can see, wow, Mom and Dad, I didn't realize how much I rely on you to get things done. That in itself is worth the summer. Amen? That's right. So really appreciate that experience. Okay, I'm going to get this right this time. So Miles is going to be the person that's going to be doing the African American Enrichment Academy. And once again, it was one of those events that as you see people go into the event, they come in one way and they come out another way. And I think the parents can tell you that the experience of watching their student in 1 week come back almost as a different human being, the confidence that they had, the ability to communicate. Some of them wouldn't even talk in public. But they all had to give many speeches while they were there. And so eventually when they got up, and they all had to do Invictus at least 100 times, or more, probably more than 100 times. But I think, once again, the idea was understanding why you're doing what you're doing, and therefore the what and the how follows. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Miles Hunter, who will talk a little bit about the experience of the African American Richmond Academy. Miles.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Dr. Pinkard for giving me this opportunity to speak for you all. And before I get started, I just want to say, before the academy, honestly, how should I say? How would you say we were dragged into something, but you kind of wanted to go? That was kind of it's like, it was a good experience, but you kind of like, I should go. Something happens, because for me, being a high school senior now, before I was like, you know what, this is my last summer, before I'm a senior, before I have to get serious, looking for a job, starting actually being a productive person. So I'm like, you know what, let's sit on the couch and take naps. And next thing you know, my mom, Keisha White, she was like, oh, I have this opportunity for you. You want to come? I'm like, sure, yeah, let's go. And then I me thinking, oh, it'll be, like a 5-day vacation, we'll go there, we'll tour the college, we'll have a great, good old time, and then, go pack my bags, go there, and I'm like, oh, this is actually, a college thing. Actually, I have to, step up, be a person. And, I do call, I guess, antisocial, I'm like, used to be in my shell, and, I'm missing, over here, writing speeches, learning all these amazing, I can't even describe it. It's really hard to see yourself doing something that you thought was impossible. You're like, you know what? I'm this person over here. I'm the person on the side, or oh, that's my friend up there. That's not me up there. And you're like, well, why can't it be me? Why shouldn't it be me? And then this academy, it awakened this inner leader in me, and next thing you know, I'm sitting in this academy like, oh, I'll be productive, I'll take notes, I'll learn, I'll strive to be better. And then Dr. Sawyer instilled so much knowledge. I'll be honest with y'all, when we first saw him walk in the academy, we thinking like, oh, this is, this bald man, I walked in, like, okay, I'm sitting here, in my J's, or, my little shirt, I'm sitting here looking proper, and then, you over here start talking like he's the king, and we're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, oh wait, he's the vice president. He showed us his office, and I'm just gonna say, that was fine office. You're in an office, if it can't top that, it should be at least. But I just treated like, just to get back on point. This academy is it's not your average academy. Like, I don't know how I can specifically tell you how blessed and how thankful I am to have taken this opportunity. Because before I went to this academy, I was just an ordinary African American teenager who, lived in the community, just thinking, oh well, gotta go to school. Why? Because, it's just what you do. It's kind of like daycare, but after like high school, then I'll get out in the world, get a job, maybe, it'll be all right. But then after taking this academy, I realized, oh, I can't just go into the room and just say, hey, I'm here, let's do it. It's like, it's important to have education, because without education, then you can't really make the money. Without the money, you can't really win. But I mean, in reality, it's not about the money. It's about taking the chance to get an education that I was not offered. And then what I learned at this camp was ADD, act better, be better, and do better. And because of this, I'm able to say now, as a senior, I'm actually extremely disappointed how the difference between high school and how underwhelming it is, and then how college, it's just like a whole new atmosphere. And so with this camp, I was like drilled. I had all this like perspective of how, well, this is college. This is like, it's amazing. I can like go out and do this, and I go out to high school. I'm like, oh, y'all going slow. Like, sure. Like, do something else, and then next thing I know, I'm over here taking notes. Like, oh, this is it, this is done. All right, I guess I'm gonna study or I'm gonna go do something else. And everyone's just like, this kid, like last year, he was just like average. Now he's like something else. Like I learned the importance of sitting in the front row of class. That's before, I'd be in the back row, me and my friends, we'd be messing around and thinking like, oh yeah, it's just another class where the teacher would be like, you on, you like 5 hours, like, yeah, whatever. You don't understand that they are giving their time to teach us something that we are blatantly take for granted, and it's just, I feel as if I need to apologize to all my previous teachers. So much of our blatant ignorance, wow. I'll be going all night, but got my time in it. So I just want to say, this academy is just a great opportunity for us young ones. I guess that sounds good. I don't consider myself young, but I'm an adult. It's a great opportunity for us to gain access to new information and to learn how to. Can't put my finger on it, but just to how to present ourselves to the world so that they can look at us and say, oh, hey, that's like they can look at us and not say, oh, here's like an average, like another like waste of space or something. They can say, here's like a productive person who can actually better our society, who can actually go somewhere instead of saying like, oh, here's another kid who's lost in the streets.
I want to thank all 3 of our student speakers. Aren't they amazing? I do. I'm sorry, Chief, that I do have to say a little bit of something. I'm not going to preach too much. It is important for us on a daily basis to make sure that we acknowledge our differences.
Yes.
Because we forget, and we're quick to tell them, man, you need to go do that right now. What did I tell you? You better do it. Versus really saying, you know what, I'm so proud of that you put your little Game Boy down, or you're not stuck to your phone, and that you're actually doing your studies. Or maybe, why don't you get up and tell me exactly what you're doing right now with this particular project. And to be able to talk them and walk them through it. I can tell you in the household, that's what we did. I mean, I learned about these Greek gods and Roman gods. I'm thinking, where's God? No, these things, he made the other Greek gods, he made all those. But I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I learned about Greek gods and Roman gods, and my sisters and I, that's what we did. We talked about it at the table. And then we did all the different genus of dinosaurs. So when all these movies came out, shoot, I knew each one of those dinosaurs. I knew them. And I'm thinking, how many households are we actually doing that in? And so those are the things, even though we may not know it, we've got those gadgets. And all we got to do is look it up and sit down with our kids and talk to them about it. And then that's what they turn out. And then, once again, last piece of this, if you expect the best from them, because they came in and thought they were going to have this, they thought it was Club Med. And I turned it into Club Red. And we had, I believe, Dr. Timmons and Carrie DeHart, they both were presenters, they both were faculty there. I can tell you, and other folks too, Bass has done it in the past for us, but we have a number of people in the room that have acted as faculty. They don't play. And I tell them, don't play. Make it difficult. Make it difficult. And so the ones that are sitting in the back, I'm sitting in the back. You get up in the front. Because one of the things I learned from education, if I sat in the back, all the knowledge got sucked up. By the time I got to me, there was nothing left. I told the teacher, I see somebody didn't do well on the test today. I'll sit in the back. But it got all sapped up after that, like some good gravy. So we make them, and those individuals that used to get a little tired. Remember, some of y'all nod off after lunch. I will be there to protect you. You better wake up. Because there's some knowledge to be taught here. More important is knowledge to be learned, right? Emphasis not on the teacher, but on the learner. At this time, though, I'm going to ask one of our famous educators from our community, and certainly one of the individuals that has inspired me since I've been here for the last 16 years, Dr. Pinkard. Dr. Pinkard.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure now to introduce some of our elected officials and board members and so forth. So I'm going to start with our elected officials and school personnel, because this is an event about young people, and I think it's important that we also acknowledge our educators. So first I'd like to introduce Assemblywoman Jackie Irwin, who has always been I don't think she's missed one of these. She's been here since the beginning and always is here, and I thank her. Next, our chief and our city manager, Scott Whitney. And then our county superintendent, Stan Mantu. Thank you. And our own Oxnard Union High School superintendent, Dr. Penelope DeLeon. Did she leave? Okay. And the superintendent for the Ventura Unified School District, David Prescott. We have our Oxnard Planning Commissioner, Mr. Steve Huber. Wayne Edmond, the Oxnard Union High School District Trustee. Dr. Kimberly Tresmat, Director of Human Resources and a board member. And Ms. Patricia Bass, the assistant principal at Royal High School in Insititue. Dr. Rena Sawyer, who's a professor at, well, now she's with Northwest University, I think. Or are you still with Cal State CI? Okay. Dr. Angela Timmons, professor at Don't be shy. Everybody, you work at the college, we want you to be ready. You're an inspiration to the students, and so you need to be ready. Constantina Baylor, the career counselor at Oxnard High School. Character Hart, the director of major gifts at CSUCI. Bobby Richards, counselor at Ventura High School. Joe Richards, deputy superintendent at Ventura Unified School District. And I'm going to recognize some people who, without their guidance and prayers for us, a lot of us wouldn't be where we are. So I want to recognize Reverend Von Beatty. Reverend Jeffrey Clark. And Bishop Dwayne Ganther. And believe it or not, he used to be my student when I was at the elementary college. I had to really take care of him. But he turned out all right, he's bishop. And last but not least, well, I want to introduce first Nancy Crawley, who's the assistant of District 44, helping Jackie with her office. And Dr. Greg Sawyer, who retired from CSUCI. And then the next thing I knew, he was vice president of Sonoma University. thank him for all he does for us. I also would like to have the board members stand from the Pinkard Youth Institute. Renisha Harris is at work, so she couldn't be here, but she's our vice president. Cindy Hoekstra, who's the treasurer, she's in Hawaii. But our treasurer, assistant treasurer, Crittenden Ward, would you stand, please? Julia Dixon, who's my lead person for the academy. Dr. Kimberly Tresban, who really stops around the high schools and makes sure I get the Dean Mohart, who's always been by our side, Bedford and I. My neighbor, Anthony Murguia, and a real good friend. These are some special people who give up their time and of their treasure. They make sure things happen, and that's why we can do this, because of them. Thank you very much, all. With the Black College Tour students for that week, they don't get paid. They take off from their jobs, they take vacation, and you know, if you take a vacation and go to work, you are taking time that you could do anything you want. But they decide they're going to go with us on the college tour, and they are on duty 8 days, 24 hours a day with the students, because we have to make sure we bring them back. You know, the people give us their treasure, their youngsters, and it's our job to make sure they come back, just like they left. And so these are very special people. So I want you to meet who they are, and they work with me all year to make sure we get it right and we get what we need for the students. Ms. Bobby Richards. The coordinator, and she rules a heavy hand when I'm not around. Mr. Joe Richards. And the idea here is it's a family affair. When we have 25 to 30 students, they become a family. And they become the mother and father with the others who are there, who are the other wardens on the job. So we want it to be a family atmosphere, so everyone is, we want to make sure they have a male and a female figure at the college tour. And another person, Mr. Kevin Goolsby. He does anger management workshops and parenting classes, and he does all the logistics for us. And this person works for the county of Ventura, but she's not able to be here today. But her name is Terry Anderson. So those are the four. So really it's for every 4 to 5 students, there's one person who is in charge. So you have a chaperone for every 4 to 5 students, so they can't get away with much. And I would like to recognize also the 20th Century Onyx Club and the Debs and the escorts, if you would stand. This is another group that works with our young people. I'm an affiliate member, associate member, but I wanted to make sure that you recognize that. They are showing them how to have social graces by bringing them to this affair. So they've had an etiquette class, now they get to practice it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pinkard. It's amazing how many etiquette classes that you're hearing that these students are getting. And they do. I know when we actually had them pick out their silverware at the academy. They had to go through and and they had to learn the D and the B, the drink and the bread, and they learned that. But they also learned which fork to use, when to use it. And so it was really interesting to watch them go through the dinner etiquette And then they would ask questions like, can I go for seconds? I mean, so it was really interesting to watch, and particularly when someone tries to put the napkin in your lap. Hey, don't put that there. You know, so they don't quite get that right now, but the idea was simply to educate them on a different world that they would be judged in otherwise. And at least now they'll be prepared. And they can tell somebody, that's the wrong fork, fool. So, hopefully they won't say that. That's my water. It was really fun because when I sat at the table with them, they were all looking at me like they were afraid to eat. You know, doctor's not going to be on me about, picking up the wrong stuff. So it was fun to watch them grow. At this time, I'm going to ask that we do one more door prize. Do we got door prizes left? Or do we need to get more chairs? It's fun when you're up here because, we may not even have any door prizes. Somebody had to come up with some money or something like that. Give you a while. Okay. Our next winner is Kim Kelly. Kim Kelly. Is Kim here? Oh, got it. Okay. You're blind. All right. So now is the presentation of awards. And for the first award for middle school recipients from E.O. Green Middle School, Ms. Teresa Poole. And if I could have, if I could also have two. Scott, since you have dual roles, can I just bring one of you up here? And then also to Jackie that will be here, and they will be handing out also information and certificates. So the first person is Teresa Poole. Let's give Teresa a hand. So Teresa is from E.O. Green Middle School.
Turn around and get a photo out now. Photo out. Oh, good. That is good. Okay.
And I'm also going to ask Teresa if she can stay up here just so we can get all the students together. Teresa, you can stay up here. The second recipient, also from E.O. Green Middle School, is Andro Michelle.
Photo op.
Our high school recipients, the very first recipient is David Grant Kelly from Ventura High School.
Great. Photo op.
And our next high school recipient is Miss Karen Scott from Santa Clara High School. And you will notice that if you will make an adjustment with your program, but we will be making an adjustment in all the programs for the students, so they will have that information. All right, so that they can show people the correct information.
Photo op.
And from Oxnard High School, all right. Nadia Mason from Oxnard High
Photo op. Got it.
At this point, I'd like to recognize all of our recipients. Let's give our recipients a round of applause. This is our future. This is our future. It's recognized. And we've been selling some more raffle tickets. Do we need to make another round for raffle tickets? Are we good? We bought them all up? Sold every raffle ticket? Okay. I'm taking your silence. All right. I think we do have one more door prize if we can. We have one more door prize? Okay. All right. All those beautiful things? Okay.
All right, now I want to make sure you know what the raffle items are. There's a night here at the courtyard. There's a round of golf for two with a cart, and there's two of these available. There's a pearl diamond pendant from George Thompson, and two gift baskets, and you didn't have any liquor today, but they have liquor in them. So you have the two gift baskets, the diamond pearl pendant, and the rounds of golf, and the night at Courtyard Marriott. So if you haven't bought your ticket, you can still purchase it before we start. Everybody got their tickets?
Seven, 74886.
Yellow ticket, yellow ticket.
Yellow ticket.
77486.
We got purple. Yeah, you bring your own alcohol, man. Unless you can have one too.
774968.
All right. We're from purple and gold to red and white. Ren, I can get you some of that Sonoma wine. All right, and another golf, was it golf pass? Okay.
774952.
All right, so now we're going to pull for this beautiful basket.
774940.
You got a pumpkin in the bag.
All right, and for our next basket,
774923.
don't hate. It's the luck. 2 years in a row, right? I'm coming back next year. Okay, oh yes, this is the George Thompson diagram.
774960.
It's a purple and gold day. Okay. Yeah, okay, there, yeah. See someone who's, yeah, there you go. It's Valentine's Day, Wednesday. Now for the 50-50. Total raise was $377, and that means the 50-50 is $188.50. Somebody's going to be taking us out for margaritas after this. All right, and the winner is
1738374.
she's going to hand it to you. You know, Cool. Okay, so before you leave, the centerpieces on your table. Whoever birthday is the closest to the date today is the one that gets to walk away with the centerpiece. So y'all figure that out among yourselves. Story with you. I had a chance at a commencement ceremony to hear one of the speakers talk about a student that came from a very poor area of LA. And this young lady was raised with two other students, or two sisters. She was the youngest of the three. But an interesting story about her is she didn't know she was poor because her mom didn't raise them poor. Her mom raised them with dignity and respect. But what she did do, the mom did, was she was able to educate the family in terms of what they needed to do weekly to be able to have enough money so that they would have money for food. So she played a game with them, and that was to try to find the coins. And some of you may have done that before. I know we used to look in the cushions under the couch, and then we go out into the car and you look and see if there's anything in the ashtray, and even in the seats or on the floor. Sometimes they dip out underneath the seats. And they would do that on a weekly basis to have enough money for the food. And this particular week was no different. Mom pulls everybody together and says, okay, baby, we need to go ahead. We need to now collect the money. And so 15 minutes or so, they run out to the car, they run around the house, they look for change everywhere. They bring it back and they put it out on the coffee table. And the mom starts separating the quarters and the dimes and the nickels and the pennies and puts them all out, and then she starts counting them. And she tells her younger daughter, I need for you to go to the corner market, I need for you to pick up a half a loaf of bread, I need for you to pick up a half a pound of bologna, and a quart of milk. Well, the mom had an idea that they were going to be a little bit short, but just didn't know how much. And depending upon the price of the meat and how they cut it, it could be right on target. Well, she kind of skips down to the local market, and unfortunately, kids can be cruel. And because they were poor, she didn't just get hand-me-down, but she got a hand-me-down, because she got the stuff that her older sister got, and the middle sister, and then she got the last part of it. But she never thought she was poor, because she loved herself and they loved the family. So she goes in, and unfortunately, as she walked in, she walked by a couple of her classmates, and as she was walking by her classmates, they were sitting there licking an ice cream cone. And sometimes it's just the eyes that do it. They can kind of look down, even though they're shorter than you are. They just kind of looked up one side and down the other. And she made her way past and went up to the counter, and she told the butcher who happened to own the corner market, Sister, I'd like to have a half a loaf of bread, a half a pound of bologna, and a quart of milk, please. And she puts the money up on top of the counter. And he starts to count out the quarters and the nickels and the dimes, the pennies. And she was a little bit worried because she wasn't sure she had enough money. And he's packing up everything. And the only thing she was hoping for is that she could get past those three girls and get on the street and get her way home. Well, he packed up everything and he gave it to her and goes, here you go, young lady. And as she got about halfway through that market, he said, young lady, come back here. And she said, oh my God, I don't have enough money. And I'm going to get embarrassed in front of my classmates. And he looked at this young lady and said, do you know you didn't give me the right amount of money? She said, yes, Lord. And he looked at her in the eye and said, you gave me a quarter too much. Yeah. So he gives her a quarter. You see, the ice cream cones cost 25 cents. And he was going to make sure she could get her ice cream cone for 25 cents. But you see, she was the diligent daughter. And she put that quarter in her pocket, and she took it back home because they needed to have food for next week. You see, she decided to defer the gratification. Well, later on, she went to school at a very good school down there in LA. And she graduated from there, and she ended up going to Harvard Medical School. 4 years later, she graduates from Harvard. And she was selected as the speaker for the medical class at Harvard University. And she's standing before the group, and up in the front row is Mom, her two sisters, and the butcher. And as she began her presentation in her beautiful gown, which is black with the green stripes for each one of the degrees she had, she went into her robe and she pulls out a quarter. And she looks at that butcher and said, "You just bought a doctor for 25 cents. Wow. I tell you this story not only because it's true and it touches a lot of our heart, but it's also the understanding that we've recognized a lot of people that have been involved actively and engaged with these students. But we haven't talked about those of you who are sometimes walking around and you are a role model that you didn't even know you were. You've touched somebody's life and you didn't even know you were touching their life. And that's the reason why it is so important that as leaders in our community that we act like leaders in our community. That we continue to give back. Even if that act of kindness is a smile. Even if that act of kindness is, that a girl, good job. Because if we start teaching our young people dignity and respect, they will serve it to others. We're in a different climate today politically. And if we're not getting it from DC, we got to start doing it from the grassroots, and we're going to start right here in Ventura County. So understand that we have a responsibility wherever we lie. The political climate has not so much to do with this as the responsibility that we have to our family, our friends, and the people that we interact with. We got to start with us first. I cannot pull the splitter out of your eye if I have a 2x4 in my home. So let's start with us first. And again, I'd like to thank Dr. Pinkard and Bedford for all the good work you have done. Not necessarily be in the area, know that I'm always with you. And all you have to do, just invite me down and give me a meal. Okay. Anyway, you all, thank you so very much, and thank you, Dr.
And let's give Greg a hand. He always one thing I didn't do that I wanted to do, and I'll do it now, is even though I recognize current educators, I want to recognize the past educators, those of us who have retired. Because there are a number of retired educators in the room who have made a great impact on our community. So would the past educators please stand? Next to make sure I recognize those who are also retired, because people still remember what they did and how they impacted their lives. So thank you for coming all the time and supporting us. I wanted to explain before I give my remarks from my husband and I, and you notice he's not here. He's been ill for the last 2 months with the pneumonia, 2 times bronchitis, and he's recovering slowly, and he really misses being here, and I miss him too. But first, I would like to have all of the individuals who are here that are in the booklet as our past participants. Would you stand if you're here? But these are individuals who, we have them in sections, and if you look at, we have past, present, and future. And I wanted to explain that, number one, Ren Bass, I don't know how my computer got his name all confused, but I guess he said it would be autocorrect. But his name is Ren Bass II, and that needs to be corrected, and we'll run a new program for him, because I think youngsters need to have copies of all the things where they are honored. The past are individuals who have gone on a tour sometime in 98 through 2013. So those are the individuals who passed, which means they are not working. They have jobs, and you'll notice that in the booklet. The present ones are ones who went from 2014 to 2017 who are in college right now. They're still in college, maybe their senior year, their freshman year, so forth. Those are the ones highlighted here. And the future are the ones who are still in high school, but they went on the college tour at some time, and they're in here to say that this is what they're doing now. So you have two people who are in high school still, two individuals who are now in college and will be future workers in our community, and then those who are already working. So I wanted you to know how we did this. And so take a look and see what some of the people you supported are doing, so that you can be very proud of what you've done to support us. Veteran and I have always thought that it is our job. I don't know how we got together and had the same like minds, but somebody put us together. I mean, the Lord knew to put us together. His brother was my minister, and he introduced us. So I guess the Lord was in all that. And we have very like minds about working with you. In fact, Joe remembers him when he worked at one of the elementary schools. So Joe knew him as a kid. And I worked at Markham Junior High School before coming to Ventura County. And Bobby Richards' sister was one of my students. And we just kind of happened to meet up in Ventura County. And they looked and said, "Don't we know you?" And they remembered that he knew him from elementary school recreation, and she remembered that I was one of the teachers for her sister. So things just happened, and we just got connected, and that's how they are working with us. And it's just a natural course of doing business and working together. It's like a family, because we've known their family in some way, some kind of way. And Veteran and I have always wanted and always enjoyed working with you, and we just continue that as a married couple. The first person we took on a college tour to make this 30 years was my son, who sits over there, Kevin Goolsby, who went to Hampton University. And so that was the very first college tour, one person. And the next college tours started with a weekend, starting on a Thursday and coming home on a Sunday. And as we continued through the years, we just made it longer and more extensive, to the point that now we go from Saturday to Saturday for a week. And during that week, we have people in the communities where we visit who we don't know all the time. Because Southern hospitality is, you don't have to know the person to have them come to dinner. If a friend of yours knows that person and the friend says, "I want you to feed my friends," they do it. So we have people who don't know us, who take in 30 people and feed them dinner. And that's what we do. The kids get to see what hospitality is like. So they get dinners at people's homes that none of us know. Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. But they get to see the heart of individuals. And we get to see your heart, because you help us with what's in our heart. And we just want to thank you. I just can't tell you enough how much we appreciate your support, and the fact that you let us know that you like what we do, you support what we do, and you want us to continue. So thank you for being here and spending Sunday afternoon at supper with the Pinkard Youth Institute. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you all and have a great evening. Be safe.